Have you ever looked at the giant stone heads of Easter Island, the Moai, and wondered, how in the world did they get there? These statues are massive, some weighing up to 80 tons, and they were moved miles across a rugged island. For decades, the mainstream theory was that the Rapa Nui people must have cut down all their trees to use them as logs, rolling the statues to their final positions. It's a tragic story of self-destruction, a society that supposedly collapsed because it exhausted its resources. But what if that story is completely wrong? What if the answer was hidden in plain sight all along within the islanders' own oral traditions? Let's dive into the incredible, almost magical story of how the Moai of Easter Island actually walked. The Rapa Nui people have always said their ancestors didn't roll the statues. They said the Moai walked. To outsiders, this sounded like a myth, a fanciful legend. Scientists and archaeologists dismissed it, favoring more logical explanations involving brute force and environmental ruin. The idea was simple. Lay down a track of logs, put the statue on top, and roll it along. This theory became so popular, it was taught in schools and featured in documentaries. It painted the Rapa Nui as a cautionary tale of ecological suicide. The problem? There was very little archaeological evidence to support it. And more importantly, it ignored the people whose ancestors actually built and moved the statues. So how did they walk? Imagine a giant stone statue tilted forward, leaning on its front edge. Now, picture teams of people on either side holding thick ropes wrapped around the statue's head. One team pulls, then the other. With each coordinated pull, the statue swivels and shuffles forward, rocking from side to side. It looks exactly like it's walking. This isn't just a theory. It's been put to the test. Archaeologists Terry Hunt and Carl Lipo decided to take the oral tradition seriously. They believe the unique design of the Moai was the key. Many of the statues found along the ancient roads are wide at the base and have a D-shaped bottom, making them unstable when standing straight but perfect for this rocking motion. Their center of gravity is positioned in a way that allows them to lean forward and be walked with relative ease. In 2012, they conducted a groundbreaking experiment. With a team of just 18 people and 3 strong ropes, they created a 5-ton replica of a Moai and successfully made it walk. The team split into 3 groups. 2 groups pulled from side to side to create the rocking motion, while a third group at the back helped to stabilize it and prevent it from falling forward. With a rhythmic chant, "Heave ho!" the statue shuffled forward step by slow step. It was a stunning vindication of the Rapa Nui's oral history. They had been telling the truth all along. The Moai didn't need a massive system of log rollers. They needed teamwork, ingenuity, and rhythm. The experiment showed that a small group of people could move a giant statue several hundred meters in a single day. This walking method also explains some other mysteries. Archaeologists have found many broken statues along the ancient roads. If they were being rolled on logs, a fall would likely cause them to crack on their backs. But most of the broken Moai are found face down, exactly as you'd expect if they tipped over while being walked forward. The roads themselves also support this idea. The ancient roads on Easter Island are not flat. They are often concave, shaped like a V or a U. This shape would have been a disaster for rolling logs. But it's perfect for guiding a walking statue, helping to keep it centered and on track. The road itself acted as a guide rail. So what about the deforestation? For a long time, the collapse of the Rapa Nui civilization was blamed on ecocide. The story went that they cut down all their palm trees to move the statues, which led to soil erosion, crop failure, and societal collapse. It was a powerful narrative. But new research is challenging this entire idea. Yes, the island was deforested, but it likely happened over a much longer period and wasn't solely for moving statues. The main culprit? Rats. Polynesian settlers accidentally introduced rats to the island. With no natural predators, the rat population exploded. These rats ate the seeds of the palm trees, preventing new trees from growing. The forest couldn't regenerate. So while humans did cut down trees for canoes, firewood, and agriculture, the rats delivered the final blow. The deforestation wasn't a sudden event that caused society to crumble. The Rapa Nui people were resilient and adaptable. When the palm trees disappeared, they found new ways to survive. They built stone gardens called manavai to protect their crops from the wind and conserve moisture. They developed new fishing techniques. The population did decline, but it was a gradual process. likely accelerated by the arrival of Europeans and the diseases they brought with them, not a dramatic collapse from environmental mismanagement. The idea that they destroyed their own paradise for the sake of their statues is a myth that has unfortunately overshadowed their incredible achievements for far too long. The story of the walking Maui is more than just a cool piece of archaeology. It's a story about the power of listening. For generations, the Rapa Nui people were not believed. Their knowledge passed down through chants and stories was dismissed as folklore. But when scientists finally listened, they uncovered the truth. It shows us that ancient cultures were not primitive. They were incredibly clever engineers who understood physics and mechanics in a way that we are only now beginning to appreciate. They didn't need complex machinery or destructive methods. They used their environment, their community, and a deep understanding of balance and rhythm. Think about the sheer scale of this project. Hundreds of these statues were carved and moved. This wasn't an act of desperation or obsession that destroyed their home. It was likely a central part of their social and religious life, a community effort that brought people together. The carving and moving of a moai would have been a monumental event, a celebration of skill, cooperation, and ancestral power. The statues weren't just stones. They were living presences, and the act of walking them to their platforms, the ahu, would have been a profoundly spiritual procession. The true story of Easter Island isn't one of failure. It's one of astonishing success and resilience. It's a testament to human ingenuity in the face of incredible challenges. By proving their oral traditions correct, we can finally set the record straight and give the Rapa Nui people the credit they deserve. They weren't reckless destroyers of their environment. They were master engineers, resilient survivors, and the keepers of a history that was almost lost because no one bothered to listen. Next time you see a picture of those majestic moai, remember they didn't roll. They walked. And in that walk, we find a much richer, more inspiring story about one of the most mysterious cultures on Earth. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this story as fascinating as I do, hit that like button and subscribe for more journeys into the hidden corners of history. See you next time.